Chris Kyle was killed by Satan. You can argue that murder is not in God's plan, but God knows all about Chris Kyle and all the people he killed, and God will judge Chris Kyle on that merit as he was a soldier for the United States Marines proportionally. But Chris Kyle was killed by a little snake. If you look at the mechanics of the situation through spiritual lens, you'll see Chris Kyle didn't either have the voice of discernment that a man who walks closely with God would have, or there was some other error, and I'm not sure what. It's not right for me to try to point out some other man's spiritual error. But let's look at the mechanics of what happened. A little snake played on the kindness and good graces of Chris Kyle using deceit or feigned friendship, and then it made the decision in its mind, this is probably the greatest thing I'm gonna get to do. The greatest thing I'll ever make a name for myself doing will be taking down Chris Kyle. And he said that. That's documented. So Satan, that's so data rich to the trained observer. First of all, Chris Kyle didn't sense it. He didn't have close harmony with his guardian angel or God or something. So that means he was a man who operated out of his own strength. Strength can get you a long ways. Another thing, he could have been hearing from his guardian angel over many years, but there could be a sin that he potentially was working with or cooperating with that allowed for blindness in another domain to be made. So therefore he didn't have visibility, or he lost communion with his guardian angel or God's Holy Spirit. Again, I'm being very technical and precise right now as a good data scientist. Another thing we can learn, the level of desperation that Satan uses to get someone to kill someone. This man's personal sense of self and destiny and belief in his own intelligence and everything had been weakened to such a low point that the blinding light of, hey, what am I going to amount to? Oh, nothing. You'll never amount to anything. This is the whisper of the devil. But I got Chris Kyle over here. He's famous, and you could kill him. That would mean something. So you can understand the depth of depravity that the mind went to and the thought structures it was juggling around that allowed it that fluidity and mobility to go and do such an act like killing Chris Kyle. And he did say his answer. So it's not just mumbo jumbo bullshit. He actually said, he thought, what could I do that'd be greater than killing Chris Kyle? So that's a bit data rich point. He was a narcissist. He had cast his gaze back on himself and his own destiny, and not what his calling with God was. There's just a lot of data there. If you do something powerful, Satan's going to try to kill you, and he can even use stupid idiots to do it. And you might get your win first, but he's going to come for your body. He's going to come. So there's nobody's safe.